Alright guys, welcome back to episode, or actually I don't know why I say welcome back. Anyways, welcome to episode 6 of the FATMAN Gaming Podcast. We've got a bunch of things we're going to go over today. Some stuff, we really didn't have it planned for this cast, but we ended up last minute figuring it out, and I think you guys are going to like this one. But yeah, let's not even bother. Let's get right into it because we got some stuff to go over and talk about. Right off the bat, though, I do want to say I want to give a shout out to the people at CD Projekt. Not CD Projekt Red, but just CD Projekt. I don't know if you heard this or not, Z, but anyways, hold on. Before all that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, I am Fatman from the Fatman Gaming. Obviously, you guys know who I am. This is my co-host, Zio. You guys by now know who the heck we are and what we're about. So, my screen's a little dark today. That's because I kind of have a headache, so I'm not trying to have it too bright. But that's the introductions. But yeah, let's get back into it. So yeah, 100 people at CD Projekt were laid off, or are going to be laid off. This comes from an email from the company, or one of the employees said that they were going to be letting go of 100 people. And yeah, I just wanted to throw a shout out to those people. It kind of sucks because, CD Projekt's had a decent run lately, and a sure as hell of a good comeback from that disaster that was Cyberpunk. So that's a shout out to those guys. Sucks when people lose their job. Hopefully they land somewhere quick. Did you hear about that at all?
No, I didn't even know until you just mentioned it. I wonder why they're laying them off.
They said, I believe, because I've heard it in several other podcasts, and I was reading the article a little bit too. I think it was because they said that they wanted to balance out quality of the company or do some structure thing, and I guess having 100 extra people on there is weighing them down. I don't know. It corporate bullshit, just that corporate mumbo jumbo. Just the gaming industry is a very fickle beast. You're never really too safe in there, even if you've been in there for a while. So I'm sure that if you wanted, we could probably go on there and find out exactly why. But I think it was just something as simply as that they were just restructuring or doing something. Quality control, they called it. Yeah, sucks. But like I said, hopefully those people landed their feet and they end up getting somewhere better and making that money that they deserve. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. Let's see what else. Project Q leaked out. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't really get a chance to read into it. I haven't had a chance to, but yeah, I did hear about it getting leaked. I've seen it across my social media.
Yeah, it got leaked. The full console had come out. There was pictures of that. Well, actually, there's a full video on there you can go and watch on Twitter. I think it's on Reddit. There's a couple other places you can watch. IGN has it. And it looked like somebody in their hotel room just had the unit. And I'm going to say it's not aesthetically pleasing. It really does look like they stretched out a DualSense controller and then slapped a tablet in the middle. I'm still interested in getting one, depending on what the price point actually ends up being. If a lot of people are wondering if this thing's not going to be $300, if it's $300, I'm out. There's no way I'm paying $299 for that. I can just use my phone for the same thing. But yeah, it looked like somebody had gotten a hold of it. They had it on their hotel bed, it looks like, and they're, rotating it, taking the plastic off. They turned it on. It's definitely running Android OS, so it's basically just maybe an Android tablet with a DualSense glued to it. I think he took it apart and showed some of the stuff that was inside of it, and yeah, it's I don't know. I'm still interested just because I'm a tech whore, so I will end up getting it like I always do. I mean, if it's $300, like I said, I'm out. There's no way I'm spending that kind of money on this. The the highest I'll go is like I want to say it's at least 199. 199 seems like the sweet spot for this. If it's anything higher than that, then I don't know. That might be a wait and see because it's almost guaranteed it's gonna go on sale pretty fast. But yeah, that leaked out, so I don't know how I feel about it anymore. But yeah, but it's at the same time it's kind of cool because if it is running Android OS, it's gonna get hacked almost immediately. Someone in the community is gonna go in there. They're gonna take that thing apart, and it's gonna be running PS2, PSP, Vita, PlayStation 3. I mean, it depends on how strong the hardware is inside of it. But someone's gonna hack it, and that thing's gonna be running ROMs in no time, or being able to get on and use Game Pass on it, etc. So yeah,
Yeah.
there was that leak that came out. But yeah, there was that. And then there was some rumors of the Switch 2, some fake boxes that came out, and it's like, dude, they're not that. People just relax. The Switch 2 will get announced when it gets announced. Um, let's see. Yeah, other than that, I mean, there was a bunch of happenings going on, but nothing that I want to get too into. Actually, no, I take that back because this is what the whole cast is about. So there was also some stuff that came out about. Well, it started with Xbox coming out and saying that they have no intentions on releasing a mid-generation refresh. So there's not going to be an Xbox Series Super X or Super S or anything like that. And then almost immediately, some details came out. I don't know if it was through manufacturer or what, but some details came out about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Um, Basically, Sony targeting 8K gaming, solid frames per second, nailing down 4K 60 or 4K. I don't remember if it was 4K 60 or at least 4K or 120. But it was, you go and if you look at the stats on it, it's ridiculous. And it went from being rumor to there's pretty hard evidence that it's a thing. So that's where in this cast I want to talk about um, the generation mid freshes is what we're calling them. So what do we think? What are we hoping for what would almost be the next generation, but not quite? And then we'll get into what we want from the following generation too. So, did you hear anything about the PS5 or the PS5 Pro leaks?
Well, I haven't really been keeping up with PlayStation's stuff as much. I've been keeping more on the eye along Microsoft's things to just because of their because of the acquisition they're trying to go for. I've been keeping more close eye on that, but in terms of a PS5 Pro, honestly, I'd rather they not have one. This is something that they've gotten themselves into where, you know, the release of the PlayStation 4 Pro was okay. That was a good one, bringing the PlayStation 4 to 4K, but the PlayStation 5 can already can do 4K, and depending on your monitor, it could actually possibly go up to 8K.
I think there's Yeah, so I think there is one game that does 8K on PS5. I'd have to look it up. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't I don't know. I So here we go into this, right? So the PlayStation 5, like you said, it can do 4K, it can do 4K 60 on certain games, and it can do 4K 30 or, whatever, all that. But I think the thing is, the rumor that I've heard and the other rumor that I've heard heard other podcasts talking about is that a lot of people think that the reason why they're going for the Pro is that the PS5 is already tapped out power wise. They think that they've already hit that power peak of what they're going to get out of games. And I'm just like, how are we tapped out already? Like, how? I don't see really. I mean, I've seen a couple other people say the same thing. Like, I think that I don't think there's a way that we've tapped out. There's no way that we've hit max power on PS5 yet. Simply because most of the games that have come out were still made for PS5. God of War Ragnarok came out on PS4. I mean, The Last of Us Part Two. Did that come out on PS? Or no, that was PS4. Period. Didn't they? It came to PS5. I don't even know. Is there a PS5 version of The Last of Us Two? I don't think so, huh?
I'm not sure myself, but I do know, PlayStation 5, the PS5, it's backwards compatible as well. So, there really is no point if, maybe if that wasn't a thing on the PS5 already, if backwards compatibility wasn't a thing where you could take a PS4 disc and put it in the console to play it, with those updated graphics, you know,
Mm-hmm.
then I would be like, go ahead, release a pro version that supports that. That would be
Mm-hmm.
a new feature. But the features they're talking about for a PS4 Pro that I've heard, um, is stuff we already have, and the stuff about like the peak power. There's workarounds for that. You could just, you can roll out more updates. If it's a storage thing, you can put external hard drives, and you can even add internal ones. They make one specifically for the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't really see, like, I agree with you. I don't see how we've reached the peak power of the PlayStation 5 yet. I say it's just the tip of the iceberg, really.
Well, that's exactly like I don't think we've reached peak power either, just because we haven't really seen anything that I don't think we've seen anything that couldn't run on a PS4. Uh, what was it? What was the? There was one game already that was PS5 only, right? Ratchet and Clank was PS5
Uh,
only.
the only game I could really understand that was PS5 exclusive technically was due to the technicality of the game, and that is Cyberpunk. Because that game was released on all gen consoles, but because of the setbacks the game itself had, it was taken off the older gen consoles because they couldn't handle it, and
Yeah.
only the current gen consoles are able to handle it. A
Well,
PS5, a
there
Series X, a PC.
it's still they still got Cyberpunk running on. They even got it running on the old Xbox One VCR, but they just don't run good over there just because that system can't handle it. But like, I'm pretty sure Ratchet and Clank was PS5 only. There's a couple of other. What was it Final Fantasy 16's PS5 only? But those games to me look like just high res PS4 games. They don't look like I haven't seen anything on the PS5 that has me blown away. Being like, well, okay, we're in next gen now. Like I just don't. I haven't seen a game like that yet. Not even Horizon. And Horizon Zero Dawn, didn't that come out PS4 as well, I think? Pretty
Yeah,
sure it did. Yeah. So it's like I don't understand what they're talking about
and
peaked in power because I mean and the other thing too, if they're talking about PS5 Pro, they're the rumor is 8K and it's like, dude, 8K TVs are still in the $10,000 range. Like who's buying that's not super rich an 8K TV? I barely have. Let's see. I mean, my TVs are all 4K. They're
it's a 720.
yeah. I don't know. I don't understand. I know why Sony wants to do it because it's another cash grab, and they know people like me are gonna end up getting
Yeah,
one,
and
and
that's the
I
thing
just
I'm seeing with both like with Xbox and with like Microsoft and Sony, is the fact that they're still releasing games. Like newer games are coming out still for the previous gens.
mhm
When you take into account when the PlayStation 4 first released, I believe the first generation of the PS4s did have some backwards compatibility with PlayStation 3 games, but then once the second gen of it, third gen of the PlayStation 4 came around, they stopped all backwards compatibility unless it was an online game purchase. And that's something they need to start taking into account. Well, yes, it was fine during the pandemic era, where the newer gen consoles weren't easy to come by. They were getting sold out left and right. Um, they gotta stop releasing games on both sets of consoles. You gotta just make it one or the other at this
mhm
point. wasting more money trying to get a game that can work on both sets of consoles when you're trying to focus all your primary on your current gen. And I think I'm that's why I'm hoping they don't release the PlayStation 5 Pro and they take it like as seriously as possible that their next console that they release has to be a blowout because right now Sony is losing, the console wars have long been over, because people, most of the time now, people will have multiple sets of consoles. They'll have all of them.
Right. Like
So,
here we go. Like here's the rumors right here. And it came from somebody who's like leaked this stuff before and someone that's like really reliable. Let's see. It says a reliable a reliable leaker has said that the PS5 Pro will release November 2024, so next year. So fall of next year. It says complete with an upgraded GPU and RAM to make 8K console gaming possible. Let's see. Oh, see, this is why it's almost guaranteed it's true then because it came from the FTC filings during the documented the court case for the Microsoft acquisition
yeah.
of Activision Blizzard. Um, and then let's see, the PS5 Slim, the one with the removable disc or the one with the optional disc drive, the one you can buy separate. That's supposed to be coming out this year, fall of this year. Um,
So to me, that itself, that just sounds like you're buying a digital version of the PlayStation 5 with extra steps at that point.
it could end up just being cheaper too, though. The slim model could be cheaper. Well, and then you end up paying regular price for it if you buy the disc drive separate. Um,
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like they could market the slim version at say uh 300 and then for an extra 200 you can get the disc drive for it and it's like just at that point you might as well just buy the the one that already comes with it built in
mm-hmm.
because it's around the same price.
Right.
So really
Um,
it seems like they're just grasping at straws at this point.
so it says that the leaker says that the PS5 Pro will offer or will not offer any exclusive features per se, but it does come with a premium price, a DualSense Edge controller, and a new model look. So, and then obviously it says it'll enhance PSVR 2 and sharper visuals, better graphics, better performance, quieter, and let's see, yeah, new design. So I'll say it'll probably be slimmer, but probably be I don't know. Hopefully, I honestly don't mind the way the PS5 looks. I mean, it could use a redesign. I thought the PS4 Pro was, in my opinion, my favorite model of the PlayStation brand. The PS5 Pro just is beautiful. The design, the double layer. I know people joked and said that it looked like it was two PS4 stacked on top of each other, and essentially that's what it was. But I mean, really, a redesign on the PS5 would be nice, just because it does kind of stick out, especially if you
Yeah.
change the plates like I do. I've got four sets of plates, and right now I have my clear blue plates on. And then I did pre-order, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But yeah, so they're talking about the pro. So yeah, the pro being a thing. So it looks like from this and the filings and in a leaker that yeah, it's gonna happen. So
Going
um,
to pull it off by what you just said from the leak, from the leaker, it seems as though my suspicions were right. It's pretty much just a glorified version of the already what we have. They're
well,
just
yeah, I mean that's
it's
what a mid-gen refresh is technically. So I mean it's kind of a so now that we know more or less that the PS5 Pro is real, and Phil Spencer and Xbox come out and saying they have no want or need for a mid-gen refresh. do you think after now Microsoft seeing this, and sure they've already seen it in court already, but now that they've seen this, do you think they go, we think we might need a an Xbox Super S or something like that, or Super X? I
No,
don't know what they would call it, but you know that Microsoft has is terrible at naming their consoles.
no. I think when those findings came out, I think that's the reason why Microsoft said what they said. Because they, as much as I love Sony, growing up playing on a PlayStation mainly, Microsoft knows what they're doing. You know, so like I said, Sony. It seems to me like Sony's starting to grasp at straws because they're, they caved into Microsoft already for the Activision deal for the 10 plus year for the next 10 years. It seems to me that they're just out of ideas. They
Right.
don't know where to take their current consoles, so they're trying to release a pro version and to, you know, keep their fans satisfied. But I think most PlayStation 5
What's up?
owners will
Do you know my
agree
basketball shoes are?
I do not.
that
Um.
they would
Yeah.
agree
So
that current consoles they don't won't need to upgrade. There would be no point.
right. I don't know. Like I said, I obviously I would end up getting one just because I'm a tech whore and I always buy everything that PlayStation puts out. I mean, I still got my PSP that I've been playing with lately. So,
Yeah, I
I
mean, yeah, if you have the money,
You know
or
they're
you're
at.
just
Go
someone
on.
that likes to collect this kind of stuff, you
Dude,
know,
they're not
it's a
out there
good
yet.
idea to release a
You
mid
know they're out?
generation console. But for in terms of people that are like me, that just you know play games just to play games, as a means to leave reality and go into another place, you know, just to relax. it's it's mind-boggling. Like I said, the PlayStation 4 Pro was a good idea at the time because the original PlayStation 4 went up to 1080p at max, and then but that's when 4K started becoming more and more of a thing in households. It became more of a household essential, pretty much, where most TVs were 4K resolution, and so they had to
yeah.
keep up with that, to keep up with those frame rates. So the PlayStation 4 Pro was born, and
Well, 4K TVs them. Yeah. Well, 4K TVs themselves, like you finding a 4K TV that's 120 frames right now, that's not a computer monitor. They they're just now becoming affordable. Like now you can get a, let's see, the best one in my opinion being the LG CX or the CX1, and then you got the expensive CX2. They're just now becoming affordable. The CX2 1 and 2, they're still a little bit high up there, but 4K TVs being 4K 60 are now a little bit affordable. Like you can buy a 50-inch for right around $400 for a basic. Um, so
oh
the
yeah,
4K TVs, yeah, or they're more or less grabbable now.
yeah,
Um,
and something that's like, they're trying to do 8K. That's what the Pro is supposed to be able to do. 8K is still rather new technology. You said it yourself. There's still around 10 grand to get something good, at least. Um, that's where I'm saying, like, they shouldn't release a mid-generation refresh for the PlayStation 5. If anything, they should focus more on just keeping the console, like updating the console, you know, focusing more on gaming, on the games rather than the console itself for now, and maybe down the line, you know, at the PlayStation 6, when Xbox is ready to reveal their next console, and Nintendo's ready to reveal their next gen console, release the PlayStation 6, make that PlayStation 5 Pro the PlayStation 6, because probably by then 8K will become like a 4K, like 4K is now, and more, reachable to people like me that, don't have a lot of income and can't spend their money willy-nilly um on stuff like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I don't see 8K TVs becoming affordable until yeah, right around the PlayStation 6 or whatever the next console from Xbox and Nintendo would be. Nintendo's next console being super, I would say within the next 2 years, if that, probably a lot sooner. Um, I don't, I don't see, um, I don't see anything like significant happening as far as like prices in the 8K and all that. Hold on. Okay. Hang on, guys. Go ahead and take over for me, real quick.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like this would be, like something I would want to see down the line. I'd say I just think it's just way too soon for a mid gen console refresh, in my opinion. I think that, you know, give it a couple more years, it's 2023, they're trying to release it next year. I say it's a bit too early. I know we got the console at the height of the pandemic around 2020, but and it's only been 4 years, but maybe give it like a couple more years, maybe like 2026, maybe. Give it an extra 3 more years, and let the PlayStation 5, the current version, run its course before we get the next version.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't. I lost my train of thought because these guys are fighting. Um, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I know that. Well, rumors are Nintendo's next console might get announced this year and then release fall of next year, or maybe the what is it? Maybe spring of next year because Nintendo's gonna they don't play with the traditional console releases, so
Yeah, and that's always been Nintendo's thing. They don't follow, industry standards when it comes to releasing their consoles. They were always a part of the console wars, but they were mainly in the back of the fight. Like they were more like of a neutral party. If you had to compare they'd probably be like the Sweden of the console wars. They're just a peaceful people. They're just making games to make people have fun.
yeah, Nintendo to me, even though the court documents and Microsoft and all them had called Nintendo a competitor, I don't see Nintendo as a competitor. They do their own thing. They're in their own world, and I mean the Switch has shown people like Nintendo still, and even though they are right now the leading console. I think was it PlayStation just announced 40 million consoles sold. Xbox the guess is right around 21 million Xboxes, and that's split between the Series S and the X. And I honestly I think the S probably sold more than the X. Um,
Yeah, and
and Nintendo's closing in on the PS4 ish. I think. So it's like yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's gonna this next year is gonna be interesting. So
yeah, and in terms
um,
of like Nintendo's next gen console, something I would like to see from them that you know I haven't really seen from them is backwards compatibility. They're back to using the little cartridges for the Switch. The last consoles that really had the last consoles from Nintendo that like physically used those was their lines of a Nintendo DS's. So I would like to see them, like, if they were to release the next console. I'd like to see them, join the other consoles and have backwards compatibility with DS games. They did it on the DS's with the Game Boy games. You had the little tray on the bottom that you could put a Game Boy game into and play it like normal. And then they stopped.
mm-hmm.
They no longer had that. But now they're back to using cartridges. I'd like to see that feature come back where, maybe. it's just like they did on the DS. So there's a separate cartridge where you can plug in, you know, a DS game or a Game Boy game, and play it on the Switch. That would make Nintendo a big time competitor due to the nostalgia of those games.
I don't think so. My well, since we're just gonna get right into it, then we'll just go ahead and start with Nintendo. Then, as far as their next gen console goes, I don't see them getting away from the cartridges that they're using now. I'm pretty sure the last games will be compatible with the next Switch because they'd be stupid not to. Considering backwards compatibility is a big fight in the game right now. Sony, for PS5 reluctantly had PS4 compatibility, backwards compatibility, and they didn't want it at first, but Microsoft came in like they do. Microsoft tends to do to show everybody up. And me, like I said, everybody should know this by now. I'm a PlayStation gamer first. Everything I do is Sony. Sony is always going to be first in line for me. But I do have a small allegiance to Xbox just because Game Pass and all that, and then Game Pass making and here's a good comparison between Microsoft and Nintendo is that Microsoft wants you to play their games. They want you to go back and relive the old stuff from back in the day. And Nintendo kind of gives that to you, but they really don't make it a priority, which they should, because they have, in my opinion, some of the greatest games in history in their backlogs, and they refuse, flat out refuse, to give them to us, to let us have a way to get them. There's people, I mean, going back to the Wii U, which I loved, and they still say that the Wii U was underrated and people didn't give it a fair enough shot. I had from the DS's, from the very early days of the eShop all the way to the Switch, I have bought in Super Mario World at least 6 times on different consoles. And then Nintendo had that bullshit thing with during the Wii U and the Wii, your accounts didn't switch over. So if you bought a whole catalog on the Wii, which I had over 160 games on the Wii, and you couldn't transfer that over to the Wii U because they didn't have a set account system. Now, thankfully, because of the Switch, they do have a shared unified system. So hopefully, the things that I buy on the Switch transfer over to whatever the Switch 2 ends up being. Because if they don't, yeah, you
Yeah,
know. But with
you know,
Microsoft and Game Pass, it's like if I want to go back and play OG Halo 1, I've got two options. I can go to Game Pass and just play it, or I can go on Game Pass and play the Master Chief Collection, which all of them are on there. So it's like if anybody does backwards compatibility and game service or fan service to the gamers, Xbox is generally number one. So
yeah, and that's where I'm trying to prove the point that if Nintendo really wanted to, they could be a fierce competitor. They would overtake PlayStation in a heartbeat if their next console had compatibility for Game Boy and Nintendo DS games. Like being able to put those cartridges into the console itself, you know, it would probably be a bulkier console, but at the same time, the nostalgia from people that had the DSs and the Game Boys, you know, it would just skyrocket their sales because again, it's just a nostalgia. Like being able to play, say, something like New Super Mario Bros. For the DS,
yeah.
now on a
Well,
Switch.
no, since we're on the topic of Nintendo, here comes the thing that Nintendo hates absolutely the most: emulation.
Exactly.
So, if
That's
Nintendo doesn't want to give its fans their games, their fans are going to go get the game somewhere else. Now, I'm not going to say who, but this person has every game Nintendo's ever made on their Steam Deck. They can play said games on their Steam Deck because Nintendo won't give this person their games, so they have to go and play on the Steam Deck all the way up to Wii U. So, uh, You know, it's like if Nintendo doesn't want them to do that, then Nintendo needs to give you an option. And yeah, the Nintendo Online service is okay. They feed you games, but when are we gonna get DS? When are we going to get Wii U? Like when is the games that people want to get to? Yeah, they drip feed you Sega and blah blah blah. It's like that's cool and all, but like give us what we want. Just honestly, just bring back the eShop. Throw all those games back on there. Make an eShop on the Nintendo Switch and just let people pick and pull whatever they want.
Yeah, and you can even do like, Nintendo can even do like Xbox does with Game Pass. You could have a service where every month a game, you can rotate the games in and out, and have these great games from previous gen consoles on there, or you can just have, even if you want to have more money from it, you can charge them per game, but at least
Yeah.
the fans get what they want. I think at this point, Nintendo fans would all rejoice if Nintendo even mentioned anything about the eShop coming back.
Oh
I
yeah.
think
No,
sales
that
would
would be great.
skyrocket from that alone.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, here comes the real thing. So there's no way Microsoft is making money on Game Pass. There's no way that they're net positive. No way. Like I've heard multiple people say it already. They say that they are. Let's be real, Xbox. You're not making money on Game Pass. Um, the only is, but I'm not again. I'm not knocking Game Pass. Game Pass is great. I love Game Pass. I use it. I've got. I mean, but hear me out, Xbox. Get the family plan over here, please. Make it cheap. I hate paying multiple prices for me and my kids when I can just pay one price and have us all at one bill. So please get off your butts and release that goddamn family plan.
that might
Anyways,
take
back.
time. They stopped the trials in the other countries that had it. They've actually
Yeah,
pulled it in from their services already.
yeah.
People don't know if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing.
I don't know either. Kind of, I don't know. I feel like maybe they thought like, oh man, we're kind of losing money if we're not charging 15.99 four fucking times. Um, but anyways, I digress. But let's be real. Xbox only survives because Microsoft has them deep daddy war butt deep pockets from Bill Gates himself. If they didn't have if Xbox didn't have Microsoft with such deep pockets of endless money, there's no way Xbox would still be around. Let's get real. No way. Um, and then it's the reason why that they can do Game Pass and not make, if they make money, cool. If they don't, which I believe that they don't, that's the reason why. Because they have deep pockets. Now, this is the reason why PlayStation doesn't do a day one, our games day one on PlayStation Plus, or Nintendo doesn't do day one on Nintendo Online is because they cannot afford that. There's no way. A game that costs $70 right now for $15.99 a month, there's no way. There's no way you're making money. There's just no way.
Right.
So that's the reason why the other two can't do anything like that. And while PlayStation will do their back catalog now, Nintendo's doing their back catalog. There's no way they would ever do what Game Pass does because they just can't afford it. But when you have an endless bank of money from Big Daddy Microsoft, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But like I said, I
Right.
digress. Let's move on to the.
And
Or
I
no, go
think
ahead.
that's
Go
why
ahead.
I think that's why those two companies, especially a company like Nintendo, won't do that kind of thing, is because, like you said, they don't have the deep enough pockets.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that that if they were to do that and turn the Nintendo eShop into some sort of like Game Pass, I believe they could possibly make some money off of it. I'm not gonna say they probably won't make a lot. I highly doubt it, but they could make a good chunk of money off of it
I
themselves.
think
Nintendo
I
themselves.
Yeah, I think because it's like let's see, I think it's what $50 now for the year for Nintendo Online. It might be less, might be more. I'm not sure. They get you 12 months, and that gives you access to all of Nintendo Online, and then all the game catalogs plus DLC. Now Nintendo's doing something cool because they give you the DLC for Mario Kart in that. They give you DLC for Animal Crossing. Who cares? And there was some other stuff in there, but um, if they just said, "Hey, you know what? We're just gonna do for $100 a year. We're gonna bring back the eShop. You can play any game on the eShop, any game that you want. Have at it. $100 a year. I would pay for that
Exactly.
in a
You know,
heartbeat.
I,
Hit.
I most Nintendo fans, especially someone like me who's just like you that loves Sony to death, but I will play Nintendo games. I've been wanting to play a Mario game for years. I just haven't had a chance to get a console.
Well, I
But
started out as a Nintendo kid, so
yeah, I started out with the GameCube before I got the
yeah,
PlayStation 2. So,
yeah. I
but
didn't
you know,
get my first PlayStation. I got my PS1 in '98 is when I got a PS1. And I had the Nintendo 64 before that. So, and then my first console was the Super Nintendo. So,
yeah, so so like I started with Nintendo myself. I would pay for that service.
heck
It's
yeah,
it's just a nostalgia of being able to go back and play the old games. Most gamers nowadays, even some of my closest friends that are like hardcore gamers more than me, you know, I see them mainly playing older titles. Uh, Sometimes they actually own them, or most of the time, it's emulation.
yeah,
And like all three companies, they're complaining about emulation, ruining their sales. Uh, if I was higher up in any of those companies, I would take a look at those emulations and be like, okay, so we're losing money because the fans want nostalgia. Let's give them that. Give the
yeah.
fans, if you listen to the fans like Infinity Ward does for Call of Duty, like their Modern Warfare series, you know, look at the results it gives. It
Yeah.
speaks for itself. When you listen to the fans, you earn more.
Now, there's one thing that I will say about emulation that I do not agree with. Now, I do not agree with emulation when you're basically stealing a current game. So, like how all those guys had Tears of the Kingdom before it came out, they were already playing them on their Steam Decks or playing them on their PCs. That I don't agree with. I think that if you're stealing something, if you're playing Tears of the Kingdom without buying it and you're just emulating it, that's stealing. You're not doing the game a favor by pirating it. You're actually hurting it, and it takes away from the possibility of a next title in the series. So I do not agree with pirating current games, but games from like 20, 25 years ago plus, like I don't even agree with pirating PS4, uh, Xbox One games. There's, especially since Xbox pretty much gives you those games a way to play them. So yeah, I don't agree with modern pirating because it takes away from all the people hard work that put into the games.
Yeah, and
Um,
like Nintendo's already put out multiple statements about emulations and that people that are caught emulating their games, especially content creators, you know, they get horrible backlash from Nintendo. Nintendo does not take it lightly, and if by some odd reason Nintendo's listening to this podcast,
you gotta watch out for those Nintendo ninjas.
yeah, if they're somehow listening to this podcast, all I gotta say is do what I've said. You know, add backwards compatibility, add the eShop for $100 a year, and add those old games back. You'll stop seeing emulation happen, and you'll start making your money that you want, that you're complaining about losing.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the next Switch. What do we want in the next Switch? In the next Nintendo console, what would be like the thing that would have you super excited? Well, actually, you know what? Let's not even get in. We just got into it. We want a full eShop category with a premium price, so that we can play all the games from Nintendo's back catalog like Game Pass. So that would be top priority for us. And then I want, I think, to touch on it a little bit more, the thing I would want from Nintendo's next console would be a dock that actually has more power, a dock that has power in it, something that would make Nintendo's console more powerful, that would work in tandem with, because we obviously know it's going to be a hybrid. So make it when you dock it, it makes it gives it like a power boost, something so that way it's more in line with whatever Microsoft and whatever PlayStation are putting out at the time. I think that would be pretty awesome. And then as far as like, Microsoft has already said they're not doing a mid-gen refresh, and then, but if they were to, there's really not much you could really, I really would want in an Xbox console. They pretty much nail it on the head with the series consoles and Game Pass, really, because I use PC Game Pass, so, or actually I had Game Pass Ultimate, so I have all of it, but, um, yeah, I really don't need anything more from Xbox other than a simple request of let Infinity Ward work on the next Halo. Now that it's all but guaranteed that they're gonna own all of them developers, give Infinity Ward a shot at Halo, because I think 343 has ruined the franchise. I think 343 is overrated, and I think 343 just needs to be tossed in the trash, because granted, those guys probably, they all do work really hard, and I think Microsoft's already done a good job at getting rid of a bunch of those people, but they need to just not do Halo anymore. Go let them do something else, because they don't know what they're doing with Halo anymore. And Infinity Ward being the best Call of Duty developer, I say give them a shot at the Chief.
Yeah, if Microsoft were to do mid console refresh, um, yeah, like there's nothing really to add to them. You know, I really can't think of anything that I say this is actually a good decision on them not to have one this year. You know, like with Xbox One, they did the Xbox One X. That was their refresher, I believe. That came around the time of the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Well, they were saying that the Xbox Series X is their refresh, so they don't really need one. Oh, as a matter of fact, let's go. There is a game developer on Twitter, or X, whatever the hell we're calling that damn thing now. They came out and they had a series of tweets saying that the PS5, the reason why, I don't know what game they're making. I had to go do some investigating because I never even heard of these guys until I started reading these tweets. Apparently, they're working on a game, and it only has the PS5 version, and the reason why they're saying is because the PS5 is so much stronger than the Xbox that the Xbox, it wouldn't work on the Xbox. They got a bunch of backlash for it because they're the Xbox fanboys, which they're fanboys on every console, and that's why I have everything. I play neutral. I'm not a fanboy to anything. Like I do, Sony obviously does come first just because I'm a PlayStation person through and through, but I do support the other consoles. But they came out and a bunch of fans were, or tweet people were saying like, oh, how do you know that's bullcrap? The Xbox is equal to or more than. And then they did some test runs and did some stats, and yeah, the Xbox is unfortunately inferior to the PlayStation 5 by a small but decent margin. So there, that was pretty interesting to see that for coming from a developer. Um, but they weren't trying to diss on the Xbox. They were just stating the fact that hey, this is why we made this game for this console, because it's it's easier to work on or whatever, or it has more of the power that we need. Um, so that was kind of funny, but yeah, I'd like to see if, for the next. Honestly, if I want to say what I really want to say, I want Xbox to not make a console next generation. I just want them to be like, here's this little box. It outputs all the way to little 4K. You put it on the back of your TV or you put it in your monitor. or and that's it. And now you have everything that you need on Xbox. Day one, here's all the games. No more buying consoles. Now they are actually making money on Game Pass, and they're making money hand to foot now because they don't have this big clunky box sitting on people's desks. Now it's just a little thing you plug in real quick, and now you have access to everything my Xbox. That is what I want for them. Because honestly, like they don't need a console, especially with the cloud stuff. It's like, dude, you got it. You're good. Make your games, put them on your service, and forget the freaking $100, $200, $300, $400, $600 box. Like we got that. You got a PC. You don't need nothing else.
Right.
Let's see. We covered a Pro. We covered the Switch. We covered the Xbox. Yeah. So I think we pretty much covered it all. We gave our opinion on what we thought. We gave our opinion on the Pro. We gave our opinion on some stuff. So, is there anything that you want to talk about on this cast? I'm gonna try to keep this one short because my headache is killing me. I already feel like I dropped the ball on this one, but
Mm, not really. I don't got anything else.
okay. All right, well, guys, we're gonna cut this one off then because we've pretty much gone over the things that we wanted to go over. This was more of a rambling cast. It was kind of last minute. I've been having this terrible migraine I need to get rid of. So if this one isn't your cup of tea, I apologize. Give it up to Z. He kept it going because you can tell I'm definitely not in it. My head is killing me. But yeah, so we gone over the things that we wanted to go over, the things that the rumors, the unfortunate loss of jobs that CD Projekt, the pro rumors, the Q leaks, the what we were looking forward to in the future, and these things and our opinions on them. And I promise next cast will definitely have some structure. We are also going to do. We plan to do a live stream, so be on the lookout for that. You guys know where to find us by now. We are the FATMAN Gaming on YouTube.com. Zio is where are you at, Z?
Zio_Philip on all social media.
Yeah, Zio underscore Philip on all socials. Check him out on TikTok. Check I'm gonna start a new TikTok for us for the Fatman Gaming thing, and we'll start putting stuff over there, our shorts and stuff. I need to make a home video for our YouTube page. I realize we don't have one. I need to get that done. And yeah, so after this migraine goes away next week, we'll definitely have a structured podcast with a stable subject. There's a bunch of news incoming too, so I'm sure we'll have a good one for you guys. I felt like this one wasn't a bad cast though. There's a lot of good information out there.
Yeah, this episode was more just like along the lines of what's been going on in terms of the
Yeah,
consoles, like what we as fans want to see coming from them in the future.
yeah, it's good to have these in between the non-serious cast, the little rambling, the bullshit cast I call them. Keeps things fresh, keeps people coming back for more. But anyways, you guys know where to find us. Give us a like, give us a sub, give us a rating on the Spotify. We are on Spotify underneath the same moniker, the Fat Man Gaming. The podcast will be up there. If you want to see it in video, you want to see our beautiful faces on camera, check us out obviously at YouTube. And then for sound, excuse me, for sound only, just check us out on Spotify. And then yeah, before we go, uh, we do this every week. What are you playing, Z?
I've been playing. I've been grinding Cold War still, but I have gotten into. One of my friends wants me to play some Fortnite with him, so I'm gonna unfortunately play that tonight with him.
Bummer. Fortnite. Yeah. Fortnite is not my cup of tea, but I do
I
see why
play
it.
tutorial builds for the simple fact that it feels
Yeah.
like Call of Duty to me with that.
I did see that they released the Futurama stuff. That was kind of cool. I'd like to go around and play as Bender so people could bite my shiny ass. uh,
If I had some funds, I'd probably end up buying one of the skins myself.
yeah, so I got excited when they did the Dragon Ball stuff, and then I saw the
I had
skins, and I
Goku
was
Black.
like, oh, did you? I was like,
I
yeah.
had to. He's my favorite villain from Super.
When I seen what they did to my boy, when I seen what they did to Vegeta and the size of his freaking head, I was like, yeah, I can't do that. So I skipped it. But anyways,
I like
guys,
Goku Black. Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, guys, that's it for this podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for listening. Do the subs, do the likes, do the things, and then yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. And we'll have, like I said, we'll have more of a structure next time. I don't plan on having a migraine, and yeah, thanks Z for filling in the blanks. I generally don't get migraines, but I've had one lately, so I don't know why. But anyways, we'll catch you guys